and welcome to another edition of The Lightest and Best, where we look at the lightest and best offerings from a variety of knife manufacturers. Today we're going to look at Boker Plus, their Urban Trapper model. And this is a special sprint run made by Massdrop. Something beautiful that happens among knife manufacturers, they'll get a knife and it gains great popularity. It's initially maybe a Walmart knife, but it becomes so collectible that they'll do a sprint run in a higher grade steel that makes it really a fun knife to own. I'm going to give an example of the Kershaw Skyline. This is something that was just a basic everyman's knife, and they had a sprint run and they put S30V steel on it, and it became a great knife. And they took off the regular steel handles and gave it carbon fiber handles. They really dressed it up and it became really a world-class knife. Another example is the Kershaw Leek. They did a sprint run. Again, they took off the steel handles. They put G10 handles on this one, and they gave it an S30 steel, and this is a very collectible, wonderful knife. Again, they did it with the Dragonfly Spyderco. It normally just has VG10 steel. They put ZDP 189 steel on a special model. It becomes a great knife for a steel snob like myself. Well, Boker Plus did it with the Urban Trapper. They put S35V in steel on this guy and made it into a wonderful collectible knife, as well as the other features which we're going to be discussing in the video today. To start off with, on the specifications, the blade length is a full 3.5 inch, and there are very few blades that I own that are this long, but the Urban Trapper pulls it off very nicely because it's so thin and delicate. The handle length is 4.25 inches, and the total life length is 7.75 inches. It has a weight at only 1.8 ounces, which makes it one of the lightest 1.8 ounce, 3.5 inch long blade length knives that I'm aware of. The blade, as I've mentioned, is made of S35V in steel. It has a clip point blade with black coating. The show side shows the Boker Plus maker's mark. The clip side has Brad Zinker's maker's mark and the steel type, which is S35VN. On the spine is the lot number. This particular knife is number 108 of 1000. The method of deployment of the knife is by flipper. It flips out amazingly fast and amazingly easy, and the lock bore disengages very nicely. The handle is beautiful. Instead of the other materials they use a titanium, and they anodize it a beautiful light blue color. And on top of that, they put a black G10 overlay scale. Beautiful handle construction. The construction, as you can see, is a simple flow-through design. The knife is held together with only the pivot, which has an internal blade stop, and one standoff at the back. The lock bar is a titanium lock bar, and the pocket clip is a deep carry loop-over clip. It's right-hand carry tip-up only. The clip is embedded and countersunk torque screws for good clearance. And I want to contrast this with what I consider to be a very well-made knife. But I just want to point out because it is embedded and it uses flat-headed screws that are countersunk, the handle is flush with the screws in the handle, so you have really good clearance, and all that clearance in there can be used by your pant pocket. I'll contrast this with the Benchmade Valet. On this one, they did not embed the clips, so it sits flush mount on top of the handle scale, and they use rounded screw heads, and as you can tell, between the underside of the clip and the rounded screw heads, 50% of the area which your pant would normally go in is occupied by their clip mechanism. The Boker Plus, I want to contrast it. None of that mechanism is obstructing your pants pocket there, so it's a wonderful design on a clip. Loop over clips are my favorite too for a deep carry. The ergonomics of the knife, well, it's a very light knife and the handle is very thin, but if you think of a stick as being the best thing ergonomically you could have, this must be good ergonomically. The action is wonderful. It flips like a rocket. No problems with the flipping action here. I want to talk a little bit about a potential use of this knife. As you guys probably know, my family and I are hikers, long-distance hikers. We hiked the entire Appalachian Trail, all 2,186 miles of it, and we took a knife. It was a multi-tool knife, but I think this knife would be a great knife for a through hike because it's great for food processing. The foods you eat on the trail are basically dehydrated foods. You have the Knorr pasta sides, the Knorr rice sides, the Idahoan potatoes. But for protein, we like to take some of the summer sausages, which are cheap, and it gives you protein and fat as well as a carbohydrate. And you need something for food prep. But our little multi-tool knife was inadequate. As you can tell, it's a 2-inch wide sausage, and this is a 3.5-inch blade. This would be perfect for food processing. We would make up our sides, and we would like to throw in some summer sausage for some protein. The other protein source that hikers usually use is peanut butter, but there's nothing like meat in your diet, and I think the Boker Plus at 1.8 ounces would be wonderful for a through hiker where you're really trying to keep your pack weight down. What are my impressions of the knife? I love it. Are there opportunities for improvement? Maybe. One of the only criticisms I had for the knife is that whenever you look at it, its blade was a little off center to the clip side. But other than that, it has a wonderful flipping action, and for the price, it is a wonderfully made knife. I love it when a common humble knife design gets a super steel. Like the Kershaw Leek, it got an S35V steel, S30V steel with G10 scales. Like the Kershaw Skyline, got S30V blade with carbon fiber scales. Like the Spyderco Dragonfly with 189 ZDP steel. And now the Boker Urban Trapper with S35V and steel. I love it. It's like the hometown boy made good. If you want a knife that's got a 3.5-inch blade on a 1.8 ounce knife frame with S35V and super steel, perfect for food prep on a through hike or in an urban setting with a great flipping action, the Boker Urban Trapper just might be for you. Thanks for watching the video. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.